Okay friends, welcome back to DCT Lab, and for obvious reasons I am Mr. DCT. In our previous video we answered exercise 7, which was to determine the sign of a product, and was pretty successful. So we are going to move along to the next exercise, which is exercise 8, which says write an algorithm that calculates the absolute value of an integer entered by the user. Okay, so again, to do that I'll be using my command line interface to create my files and folders. So I currently have the folders exercise 1 right to 7, so I'll create a new one for exercise 8. So make directory exercise 8. So you can see exercise 8 folder has been created here. Now let me go inside exercise 8. So cd exercise 8, which cd stands for change directory. So in exercise 8 now I'll create now a new executable. I'll call it exercise 8.c. It's going to be my C file where I'll write the pseudocode and the C program. So in it you can see it here. Now let me go back to the question. Now to begin, I'll first of all comment this out. I'll name it as exercise 8. The name is going to be absolute value. Yes, absolute value. Okay, now to begin I'll say start. This is how you start algorithm. You can write start or begin. So start, I'll declare first of all my variables. Declare, I'll use my integer variable as n, then comma, my absolute value is going to be abs value. I'll just abbreviate it. Okay, all of them are going to be as integers. Okay, now I need to read now the integer from the user. So I'll first of all say display enter integer value. Okay, now I will use now the read word to get the integer. So read n. Now to the logic now to calculate the absolutes, right? I'm going to say if, right, n is strictly less than 0, right, I'm going to say then. Now I'm going to say then abs value is going to be, again, to assign something in pseudocode you use the backward arrow. So backward arrow, I'm going to assign n to absolute value. Now you know absolute values, right? Let me play my music back. I don't know why it stopped. Okay, let me change the music. I love playing music at the background while coding. Okay, so if n is less than 0, right, you know an absolute value of a number of a negative number is always positive, right? So just like in maths, when you have maybe say an absolute value of negative x, right, will always be equals to x. So the negative sign is always like cancelled out. Okay, so the same here. If the integer the user enters n is less than 0, then now we need to take now that integer and multiply by negative number, like multiply by negative sign to cancel it out. So negative will give us positive. So else, right, we do instead abs value, we give it n. Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'm going to end my if, and down I'm going to display now the absolute value is abs value. Okay, So that's it, and I can now put now n, my final n of the pseudocode. Now close now my comment. Okay, so basically, if you know absolute value, it will always be positive. So the absolute value of an integer, of a positive integer, will be positive, but if it's negative, it will be positive. So the negative sign here in front is to cancel out the negative. You get the point. Now how do we, let's test this program by writing out a program. So hash include, we're going to do that in C. stdio, which stands for standard input output, is the library that contains the scanf and the printf statement. So in our main function, I will say int n comma then apps value. Okay, semicolon to close. Now printf, I'm going to say enter integer value. Okay, semicolon to end the statement, then scanf to read the value. So percentage d, since it's an integer, comma, then ampersand n. Okay, semicolon to end the statement. Now here's where the condition goes. If n, right, strictly less than 0, we are going to have apps value equals to negative n. So negative will cancel out the negative value. Else we are going to have apps value still the same as n. Okay, now let's print it out in the screen. So printf, we're going to say the absolute value is percentage d. Now all of this has to be in quotes, so here I need to put in quotes. Okay, now at here I need to say comma then apps value. Okay, don't forget to end with semicolon. Now I'm going to end my program by saying return 0 0. Okay, I hope everything is correct. Let me compile. Control B. Okay, it compiled successfully. Here is the compile code. It's in binary. So to run it, I'll open my terminal again, my command line interface, and I'll execute it there. Okay, so let me first of all clear my screen. Now if I say ls, you see the one in green is the compile code. So to run it, I'll say ./n/, then the name of the compile code, which is exercise 8. If I press enter, it says enter a value, enter value, right? So if I put maybe 7, it says the absolute value of 7 is 7. Now if I put -7, will still be, let me rerun the program. If I put -7 instead, will still be 7. So you see now why we put this negative sign in front, to cancel out, because we know that the absolute value of a negative number is positive. So that was it, and I hope you come again you follow along to the next exercise, which is going to be exercise 9. So stay tuned and be blessed till next time. Peace.